Next up, we have a lightning talk on how AI is transforming from assembly lean to AI-driven operations, the future of manufacturing. Join me and please put your hands together as we welcome on stage Dr. Ravi Kumar, the VP and Head of Advanced Engineering Infosys, to kindly come on to the dais. I also request Debarshi Banerjee, VP Technologies, CamCom, to kindly join us. Well, the talk for this session would be from assembly line to AI-driven operations, the future of manufacturing. Please just stay tuned, and once again, let's give a big round of applause to invite Dr. Ravi Kumar, the VP and Head of Advanced Engineering Infosys, and also Debarshi Banerjee, the VP Technology, CamCom, to kindly come on to the dais, please.
First of all, thank you, nasscom, for this wonderful opportunity for me to be here, and also thanks for that wonderful award today. So the topic, basically from assembly line to AI-driven operations, future of manufacturing, is very, very interesting. Manufacturing is all about converting raw materials into finished products. The process of converting raw materials into finished products is complex, involving machines, processes, and people. The objective is to improve the productivity, improve quality, reduce cost, reduce risk of operations in terms of adhering to standards and compliances. Before we move on to the future of manufacturing, it is essential that we look at the past, present state of manufacturing. Manufacturing industry came a long way from the first industrial revolution to the current fourth industrial revolution. The invention of steam engine led the first industrial revolution. The invention of electricity has led the second industrial revolution. The invention of control systems and industrial automation led the third industrial revolution. Industry 4.0 is all about horizontal and vertical integration across the enterprise. We call it as ET, the engineering technologies, OT, operation technologies, IT, information technologies integration. And use of AI is to improve the efficiencies, productivity, and quality once you have this particular data across the organization from ET, IT, OT systems. Manufacturing can be classified into discrete, like automotive or aerospace or process industries, right? Of course, if you look at this entire manufacturing industry, the way we look at how Industry 4.0 can help is in terms of the business value, what I just mentioned. But one of the important technique that we use to assess the maturity of a manufacturing enterprise on the Industry 4.0 journey, right? This particular maturity, we are very, very fortunate to work with University of Aachen and Architec under the umbrella of Architec Consortium. We built the Industry 4.0 maturity framework. This consists of 4 levels of maturity. One is visibility. The second one is the transparency. Third one is predictability. Fourth one is adaptability. So in the first case, visibility, bringing all this particular data at the enterprise in a unified way. The second one is the transparency, understanding the data, what is happening, why is it happening, how is it happening, all that stuff. Predictability is all about, once you understand this particular data, can you predict the future, what is going to happen? That will improve your preparedness. The fourth one is adaptability. Once you are able to understand good understanding about the data and you are able to predict what is going to happen in future, now the thing is making the complete system autonomous, right? So these are the 4 stages of maturity. And of course, AI plays an important role in all these 4 stages of maturity, right? In the visibility, once you get the data, you need to make sure that this particular data is good or correct, okay? So you can use all kinds of AI techniques to clean up your data, to harmonize data, right? Transparency, doing all kinds of analytics is another big ML techniques that you can use to get good hold on the data. The third one is in the predictability. All the predictive modeling work that you do in terms of the prognostics of an equipment or any other processes comes with a lot of those immense deep understanding of the AI algorithms, whether it is the machine learning or the deep learning techniques, right? The fourth one is adaptability. It's all about the automation, closing the loop, right? That's where AI will have an immense value. And what we can look at it is, we can look at this particular thing into 4 efficiency dimensions, right, for a manufacturing shop floor. Manufacturing shop floor typically has 4 major functions. One is the production function. The second one is the quality function. Third one is the maintenance function. Fourth one is the ESG function, the environmental related function. In all these 4 functions, you can improve the efficiencies through manufacturing, through AI. Okay, so one is the operational efficiency. The second one is maintenance efficiency. Third one is the energy efficiency and reduction of the waste. And the fourth one is the information efficiency. More specifically, bringing that information, make it available at the right time, and so on and so forth, right? So these are the 4 broad categories, and AI has immense help in improving the OEE, basically the operational equipment effectiveness. Every production engineer looks at it, right? It can improve to the tune of 15 to 20%, which is a pretty huge, right? The maintenance efficiency of the assembly line, right, is essentially about the predictive maintenance thing. It can improve anywhere between 20 to 25%, okay? And similarly, the energy efficiency, reducing the energy consumption, reducing the water consumption, reducing few other wastages. AI can have immense influence. In fact, at Infosys, we have implemented some of those things. In our own campuses, we were able to reduce the energy by 51% per capita over the years, a period of 8 to 9 years, right? So, in a nutshell, there is a big role that AI can play, right? It is not only the time series data that you get from the sensors, but also the text data, the logs that are out there, you can analyze much more efficiently now. And also bring all the additional data in terms of the operation documents, maintenance documents, and everything together to solve some of the complex problems that are out there. Whether you use the regular ML techniques or the deep learning techniques or the generative AI. Of course, there are multiple challenges that we face, but what you can do is you can bring multiple technologies together to solve the business problem. One specific example is when you combine knowledge engineering with the GenAI technique, you can solve a lot of the hallucination problems that are out there. Okay? So these are the few things that I can tell here. AI can immensely influence the manufacturing sector. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to start by thanking NASSCOM for doing a stellar job in organizing such events which allows emerging technologists and stalwarts to come together. It is indeed an honor to share the stage with Dr. Ravi Kumar, right? So we are talking about manufacturing, right? We have set a goal for ourselves, right? To become $1 trillion economy, to become self-reliant. How will we achieve this? Manufacturing is an integral part, Make in India is an integral part to achieve something like this. When we think of manufacturing excellence, we tend to think of Japan, tend to think of Germany. This is where India has a unique opportunity to utilize AI as a tool and emerge as a serious player in global manufacturing. If you use AI decisively, you would be able to reduce the cost, you would be able to increase the quality of output. How will we do this, right? Digital image processing is nothing new. Since the 1990s, we know companies like Siemens have been using this technology, but the CapEx and the OpEx really makes it very difficult. So you need to have a clear ROI to go ahead to implement something like this. And at the same time, when we look at some of the core concept which drives the neural networks, which is behind computer vision, has been around since the 1970s. But we then got into a period of what we call as an AI winter, right? But that makes today very exciting, and that's why we are all here in this particular conference, right? We finally have the hardware, and a few sessions back they were talking about the choices that you have to make regarding the GPUs, but we finally have the hardware which allows us to run these very complex algorithms, and some of the results that we are seeing is absolutely stellar, right? We can use computer vision to really bring down both the CapEx and the OpEx, right? But the question remains, how do we scale? Do we always need 1 billion images? Will all of this data need to go through rigorous and time-consuming process of supervised learning? Right? Over the last 2 years, we have seen companies like OpenAI and others, what they have done with large language models. Something that has not been explored is looking at domain-specific large vision models. And it's slightly difficult to imagine it, right? These large language models have been trained on public data sets, which is readily available. And now we are also looking at multimodality with the latest releases that are coming out, which is trained on audio, video, along with the text. But the images which are required to train such models are not publicly available. You don't take selfies in the production plants, right? We at CamCom have been able to build foundational models in a completely unsupervised manner, which can be used in manufacturing. If you have 10,000 images, we would be able to build a domain-specific model for you. But that is one part of the problem. We need systems which are predictive and prescriptive as well. Think of the system as a feed-forward network, which in real time can do image processing for improved product quality, but also increase efficiency by reducing waste. The way Japanese automobile manufacturers introduce total quality management, which has now become the industry standards, these systems can be trained for the same purpose, and we can automate the overall process. One use case that I would like to illustrate my previous point is we have been able to predict when the AQI levels go up, and that results in dust defects at the end of the line manufacturing. Now, when we do this prediction, we can go ahead and take corrective measures, which not only reduces the effort of rebuffing, but it overall makes it more efficient, it makes it more cost efficient. So I really think that we are in a really exciting time where India can use AI to leapfrog into global manufacturing. I would like to end with a Dickensian quote, which kind of describes the time we are in, and some of these thoughts were there in that talk we had, the panel that we had. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times, it was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness, it was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity, it was a season of light, it was a season of darkness, it was a spring of hope, it was a winter of despair. We are really at the tip of the iceberg, what AI can do in manufacturing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the wonderful words. Audience, once again, let's hear a big round of applause for Dr. Ravi, Kumar and Debarshi Banerjee.